You're amazing. So amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
You're amazing.
So
The stars and hold the shine. The stars and hold the shine. What's going on there, Tyrone? Blessings to you. Sorry, I couldn't tag no one today. I tried tagging like 3 times and wouldn't let the live go through. So that's why I just came on, man. The thing, wow, just give me the blues. So some people may not even see that I'm on. It's all good, though.
your heart, worthy is the Lamb who was slain for you. No one compares to you. No one compares to you. No one compares to you.
Hey there, Mother Dear. Blessings to you there, Mother Dear. Love you much, Mother Dear. I'm going to see if they flag my... Appreciate that. It would have been up at 8. Hey there, guy. It would have been there at 8. But I've been fighting with Facebook trying to tag my people so it wouldn't let it go through. So I just came on with no tags. I'm going to see if they mess with me this week. Normally they mute my music, but I'm using a live version of the song. So we'll see. I'm going to turn it off once I get a few more people in. Then we'll go ahead and do what we got to do.
Like you and me, but walking around and stretched and wide and hung and faded and for me down. The story is,
Man, that's too much to do it now. Eh? It is what it is. Prayerfully they come on. If not, prayerfully they'll catch it on the replay. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Blessings upon blessings to everyone. Prayerfully, this Monday has been a awesome Monday. Pray that God has done things for you that no one else could. So you don't mind giving him the praise, the honor, and the glory. Come on, can y'all send up some hearts? Hearts are our way of letting God know we are grateful. We are thankful that we celebrate him. We love him. Can't nobody do us like him. So we send up hearts tonight. That's our way of also making the room feel comfortable, because this is a room of love. And so we don't mind sharing love in this room. Again, we thank God. What an amazing God he is. Another 7 days he has kept us. Another 7 days. My God. Phone a neighbor, text a friend. Let them know Pastor Marshall is on again. Hallelujah. I see my face, my YouTube is lagging just a little bit. But it's all good. We going with it. All right, good folks. Let's go ahead and get in. Again, first of all, I hope all of my good brothers, the good fathers, I hope and pray that you had a great Father's Day yesterday. I hope and pray that, yesterday wasn't the only time that people waited to let some people know that they are a good father, great father, wonderful father, whatever it is. But I pray that they know this on a regular basis. You know, all both sides get criticized, bad mothers, bad fathers, but no one gets criticized more than fathers, brothers, all of that type of stuff. So, I hope and pray that when you do have a good one, when you do have a wonderful one, when you do know of a good one, when you do know of a wonderful father, that you're allowing them to know this on a regular basis, that this is not just something that only comes around once a year, and it's not always about, gifts. I mean, gifts are a wonderful thing. Gifts are a wonderful expression of your appreciation and you know, um, I guess in a sense, a reward for people being who they, first of all, who they're supposed to be, but then sometimes exceeding those expectations. So gifts are wonderful, but at the same time, acknowledgement and encouragement is wonderful as well. Throughout the years, a father, you know, I'm quite sure would love, just like a mother loves to hear her children tell them that they love her, and, you know, um, different things that they say to her. Fathers are the same way. Good evening, Ed Lee. Blessings to you. And so I hope and pray that, especially good fathers, that yesterday wasn't the only day that they heard it, but that, they hear it and feel it on a regular basis. So we give God praise. I know it's buffering, Lee. I don't know what's going on with it. I see it lagging even on my end. So I don't know. I hope and pray that, it acts right. But yeah, I was seeing that that lagging. Okay, so you came to Facebook. All right, cool. So we just expression of love, these painful reality of the atrocities that hatred hatred can cause. That was definitely um hatred that a lot of people of color had to suffer during those times. So prayer people felt some sense of awareness, some sense of pride over the weekend, that we have a rich legacy, and a legacy that's worth preserving, a legacy that's worth communicating about, because if you don't know whence you come, you surely don't know where you're going. And so many, um, they are aimlessly just going through life. But I believe there's strength, there's hope, there's love in the story of Black people. We've been through a lot and still are going through a lot. But at the end of the day, I'm so appreciative for those who did whatever they did to help us get where we are today. So again, I thank God for um yeah, the Westport Museum is awesome. Was down there this weekend, and it's amazing that this thing has taken off, because it was just really supposed to be a personal expression of someone's love for their neighborhood and different people who sprung out of their neighborhood. And now it's the Westport Museum, it's the Westport Hall of Fame, all of those different things. But it was just someone who had an idea that they wanted to honor some people who came from our neighborhood, because one of the things that we say on a regular basis is, and it springs off of the scripture where it says, is there any good thing that comes out of Nazareth? So we use that to say, is there any good thing that comes out of Westport? Westport is is a neighborhood in the city of Baltimore that at times don't have a great reputation, but we have lived long enough to see some people spring from, a lot of people are now bringing up the rows that grew from the concrete. Well, I've seen a lot of roses grow from them concrete streets out there in Westport. A lot of roses. I see a lot of people who are doing well these days that come from those humble beginnings, sometimes meager beginnings out there in the Westport community. So I thank God. But he honored Dwayne Chase. He honored I forget Mr. Bede's first name, but he honored Mr. Bedes, who was in the Guinness Book of World Records. A lot of people know the Running Man of Baltimore that they were familiar with, that they would see all across different parts of Baltimore. But we had the original Running Man. We had Mr. Bedes. Mr. Bedes would run from Baltimore to DC and back. He was in the Guinness Book of World Records for, I think, running from New York to Baltimore or something like that, running, so, you would have saw him running around Westport early in the mornings or in the evenings when he got off from work. Can you hear that? When he got off from work, he would be running through Cherry Hill, Brooklyn. I mean, he just was running so many places. And so we had the original Running Man, Mr. Bedes, and then he also has Geraldine Taylor, who has such an inspirational story that's being told around the country. She has been so many places telling her story. She has a book called Pretty Girl Blues that details her life as a cancer survivor, as an ostomy person. Okay. I didn't even know that was Nashe grandfather. But yes, ostomy spokesperson, things of that nature, ostomy bags that she still has currently, and her story is so wonderful. But she's done some phenomenal modeling and different things. So he has a picture of her on the wall. Then he has Elizabeth Wright, who did so much great work for the community of Westport, keeping us relevant and relative in an era where a lot of neighborhoods were being overlooked. But Elizabeth Wright, he has her there. He has a nice, I'll show you guys probably next week, the thing he has of Westport. Is real nice. He caught it when it was still up. A lot of our houses are gone now, but he caught the mapping of it, and he has that on his wall. And then he has authors that came from Westport. He has a young lady named Keisha who wrote book something about the king. I can't remember the title, but something about the king. Then he has Angela Davis, who wrote a book. It's one more person that has a book that he has on display, and he has myself when I was on the cover of Grace and Glory magazine. So all of these things are in his basement. He decided to pay homage to people. His idea was, when you go down most men basement, they're gonna have Kobe, Dr. J, Michael Jordan, all of these different other people. But will help us to stay away from dejection, being dejected, or rejection, feeling like we're rejected. But I just love the fact that God will allow me sometimes to just stroll down memory lane. And so yesterday, as we were out there, I just was taken back to days and times where you know, it was like, it was fun, but it was tough. When we were coming up, I can't say that it was like super tough for us because we were young. And so a lot of the responsibility and the weight of different things weren't on us. So, like, for instance, some of us didn't know how bad things was because, back then parents didn't just let their kids know everything, keep their kids all in the business. Children stayed in children's place. They say stay in a child's place, or all of that other stuff. So you didn't get the weight of what a parent may have been dealing with. I mean, you saw that, yes, you wasn't rich. You saw that you wasn't living in a mansion. You saw that, you didn't always have steak and all of this other stuff. But at the same time, the community had a lot of people who, they just flowed in that love thing. Again, we had Elizabeth Wright, who was a person that, now Miss Wright will get you straight. Don't get it twisted. She'll get you straight. She was one of them real old school ladies that, she loved her community. She loved her people, and she would do different things. But you come around there certain ways, she'll get you straight. But at the same time, she would make sure you're going to eat. She would make sure that she would try her best to get certain programs and things out there. In the Westport community, we had the Bookmobile, we had, Westport Day, and just different other things that, she was instrumental in trying to keep going for the community. We had politicians who came out and, made sure, one time she made sure that Kurt Smoke came out and he saw us, and next thing you know, they were shoveling the streets. They didn't miss us no more. It was crazy. We had a city yard out there, and the only street that a lot of times got shoveled was Nevada Street on their way out. They didn't worry so much about all the other stuff down in the projects and different other places, but they would go up Nevada Street, up where the cemetery is on Waterview. They have to come back to get to the yard, so they would go down Westport Street, and they would do a little bit of Maisel Street to get in the yard. But that was pretty much their thing, even though the yard was right out our way. But anyway, but I was reflecting, I was thinking, and I was like, man, I can easily, I know some of y'all not going to be honest, y'all going to leave me out there, but it's all good. But I can easily go off on a tangent of what I don't have, what I didn't accomplish, what's wrong, and this. Oh man, I can get in that complaining bag just like a whole bunch of other people, But yesterday, man, it hit me again just how good God has been to me. When I looked around and I saw how the community is so different, it doesn't even look like the community that I came from. I was like, man. And I was just looking around and just taking how it was days that I just never saw myself really being in the position that I am in today, really on my feet the way that I am today. Because the only way I thought I was going to make it out of the Westport projects was playing basketball. I really thought I was going to make the NBA, make some money, get on out of there. That dream that a lot of people have. I didn't see, another way. I felt like at times that I was going to end up in the community like so many others, and just either working, get me a little project house, things of that nature. But I'm so grateful that God graced me with another path. I'm so grateful. I cherish and I absolutely appreciate growing up where I grew up at, because it has taught me what life really is, and I appreciate that I had a great handle on life coming up. Gray areas and different places, of course. But for the most part, I had a handle on life that I knew certain things I just wasn't going to do because there was no future in it. Certain people I'm just not going to really associate with because there's no future in that. And I learned all of that in that neighborhood. But I was looking around and I was looking at different people, and I love to see people doing well. But I really love to see people who at one time the struggle was on them in a major way, but they made it out. People who, had to do some time in prison, but they made it out. People who, just had their battles with alcohol. I saw a melting pot of people who God had been good to. And man, it just, I had to sit down for a second and take it in that God has graced us. And so I'm gratefully graced with the love of God. I'm so grateful today that God graced me with the love that he displayed, not just to me, but to so many others. See, I come from a mother who was a single parent, who was working hard, and it was tough. It was tough. It was tough. And, and to get us to the point where we are today, myself, my little brother, and my other little brother, we got fairly decent sense. We got fairly decent, good sense, few wrinkles, few little things here and there. But for the most part, my mother did an excellent job with the hand that she was dealt. An excellent job. And, but to look around and see different other people, just happy and, contributing and dancing and doing things like I was like, wow, man, it just was putting me in awe yesterday watching that. And so, I said, man, I'm grateful. So I went to the Bible, and Deuteronomy 26:11 says, and you shall rejoice in all the good that the Lord your God has given to you and to your house. My God. Woo! Man. And you shall rejoice in all the good that the Lord your God has given to you and to your house. My God. And what that's saying is saying that God ain't give you everything, but he gave you enough to rejoice. Man, now see, y'all know I'm a preacher. And so some things just hit a little different. And some things you just got to stay calm and try to calm yourself down. But, I don't come from the silver spoon, but I come from a place that I can be grateful for. And I wonder if I got a couple people out there today that's just grateful for the fact that yes, God has been good to you. You don't have it all. You ain't got all the money. You don't have, maybe the job that you were aspiring for, but you do have it. God has still been good. If I got like 2-3 people that feel that, come on, just type in the comment section. God has been good to me. God has been good to me. What the song say, when I look back over my life, I can truly say that I've been blessed. I have a testimony. And that's my testimony. I'm so grateful, that I have a testimony that, yes, I've been tested, man. I've been tested in ways that I wouldn't want someone else to be tested. But at the end of the day, man, God has still been good. God has given me enough good to be grateful for, really, for the rest of my life. To be grateful that he would not allow me to die in some of the situations that I found myself in. And I don't mean that somebody brought onto me. I mean that I did on my own. To not allow me to be riddled with disease from some of the decisions I've made in my life. God has been good to me. To allow me to be able to stand in a pulpit or wherever I stand and be able to speak on his behalf. God has been good to me. And I'm not going to try to speak for nobody else, because maybe that's not your testimony. But my testimony is God has been good to me. God has been good to me. And nobody can take that away from me. Nobody can take that. See, your testimony is your testimony. And God bless you, Sister Jackson. God bless you. I was going to say, well, I can say Aunt Bernie. God has been good to me, and I'm grateful. I go through these points, and I thank God for them. I go through these points different times where, man, I'm just overcome. I'm overwhelmed with gratefulness, because God didn't. I realize that God didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do it. If I can just get somebody tonight to touch and agree with me tonight that God didn't have to do what he did for you. Just think about that he didn't have to do it. It's people who I feel like were smarter than me. They not here today. It's people who I feel like, or I know, had more money than me, but they're not here. It's people who, we can just put on a pedestal and all of these types of things, but they're not here. And for God to open doors for me that he has, and for God to make ways for me that he has, I think of all the times that, good evening, Adrian, it was good to see you yesterday. I think of all the times, man, when I laid in my bed in that Westport house in 2346 Nevada Street, when I laid in that bed in that room and I turned the lights off, because so many times I had migraines, because I was just so dejected and I felt rejected. I felt like life was just terrible. I felt like, the only person I had in my corner at that time was my mother. Thank God that was enough a lot of times. But I felt like that was the only person in the world I had in my corner was my mother. And so many a days, I'm sitting there, I'm just crying, man, migraine headaches. I got the music on, and, and I'm just thinking like, man, it got to be better than this. I remember when I came to reality, came to grips with the fact that I wasn't going to make the NBA. Life got real scary for me, because I didn't see another way. I didn't have another plan. I put all my eggs in that basket. My mother used to say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I put all my eggs in the basket and tried to get a couple other people eggs to put in the basket. But it didn't. And when I came to grips with that reality, that it just wasn't going to happen. Life was so scary, man. Life was scary, because it's like, now what am I going to do? What do I love to do outside of basketball? What does life offer me outside? I spent so much time. I shoveled snow off the court. I played in the rain. I played in the cold. I went over East Baltimore. I went all these different places to play basketball. That's what I loved. And they would say, you do what you love. That's what I loved. And so, I didn't understand at that time, Aunt Bernie, that God had his own plan for me. At that time, my mother used to say, God is too wise to make a mistake. She would say that so much, man. Sometimes it would irritate the mess out of me, man, when she would say, God is too wise to make. I felt like he had to make a mistake. Look at where we are and things of that nature, because you can easily look at the jar as half empty instead of half full. And so you get to complaining when really you should be thankful, because it's so true that it could be worse. We could have been in worse situations, sometimes things was tight, man. I'm from that era that sometimes it was a treat to get certain type of meat in the house because meat cost a certain amount of money. My mother was the only one working, so certain things was a treat. So you don't get those things all the time. It was a treat to go to McDonald's and stuff like that. It was a treat to get on the bus and go down the harbor or to go to the movies and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It was a treat to get those things, and so I felt like God had made a mistake as I was, going through these periods of my life. But thank God, Sister Bernie, that yes, God had another plan. And, you don't always get to see it. And sometimes I believe that's his strategic way so that he can line you up with it the right way. Because I believe if God showed us exactly who he was, what he wanted us to be, sometimes we would probably try to hurt ourselves trying to get there too early, trying to, forget about all the, but it's some of these other things that God allows that helps to put color to. I always, when I deal with like counseling, I recommend to people a lot of times coloring. One of the things I learned in, taking counseling and different things of that nature, teaching us how to counsel and stuff like that. One of the things that they'll tell you is like certain exercises, they simple, but they are so, incredible. Breathing exercises are incredible when you are in a moment of maybe anxiety or stress, whatever. Just start taking deep breaths. Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And you'll start to feel yourself calming down. Calming down. Sometimes you have to close your eyes and take the deep breath because you got to take your eyes off of whatever's fixated on at that time. Deep breath. It calms you. It relaxes you. But then also things like if you just like trying to get your mind to a certain place to get some things out of it, they recommend that you color. Coloring, for a lot of people, has shown their mood or what they're dealing with. So they give you a coloring book. You start to color. And most of the time, if your mood is a down mood, you use certain colors like dark colors, like a navy blue, a dark brown, a black and stuff like that. You'll color that way. And sometimes you'll go outside the lines because, you basically putting on where you are. If you're in a good place, a lot of times you use bright colors. You use your reds, your yellows, your greens and stuff like that. But they recommend that you color. Yeah, there you go, Adrian. And so take me through that. But at the same time, God is sovereign. I saw somebody put that earlier. God is sovereign. And God knows certain things and certain buttons to push to allow us to get to certain places. So I wanted to hop on tonight to see how many people ever really take a moment to just be grateful that God has graced you with what you have. I don't care what you have. He didn't have to do it. I don't care if you're in an apartment. I don't care if you sharing a room with someone. I don't care if you're paying for a room. I don't care if you got a hoopty. I don't care if you got a Benz. God has been good. He has been so good because there's so many other alternatives to where we could be. Do you really realize the first time that you hit marijuana, you could have died. The first time you tried a cigarette, you could have. The first time you drank some liquor, you could have died. The first time you got behind a wheel, you could have died. The first time you got on an airplane to go somewhere, you could have died. The first time you went walking down the steps, you could have fell down the steps. It's so many, scenarios that could be, but yet and still, God continues to keep us every day. The very things that we overlook on a daily basis, is still God's grace, God's great mercy. A car I can get into today, but it wasn't all that intelligent to just make all of this happen. I was making mistakes just like the next person. Sometimes God allows us to go through certain things to help someone else who's going through the same thing, who don't know how to come out. Come on, Sister Bernie. Come on. Come on. Absolutely. And you don't understand that. You know, sometimes when you're going through what you're going through, you think you're the only person in the world that's going through that. I couldn't think about nobody else them nights when I was laying in that bed crying. I was only thinking about, I felt like God had forsaken me, that God, you know, gave me a raw deal, the wrong end of the stick. But God, yes, Mother dear, but God. And so, you know, you don't see that, you don't understand that, but God, thank God that God knows that I got some other people going to be struggling with some stuff like this. So you going to be my ambassador for coming out. You going to be my ambassador for showing people that you can make it even though you went to prison. You're going to be my ambassador to show people and just different stuff. Like, oh man, that thing was beautiful. It was beautiful to see, man. I seen guys FaceTiming their kids and stuff like that because maybe their kids was working or their kids couldn't make it because, you know, some kids now have their own kids. So sometimes they off with their own kids doing, but they FaceTime and they sitting there. I mean, man, it was just, and so it had me thinking, right, about this being grateful. I want to say a few quotes. Yes, it was, Adrian. It was beautiful. You know, just to see certain things, it was beautiful. I'm going to put a couple of these quotes out, and then I'm going to get ready to get out of your head. One of the quotes that I love is this right here. This quote right here, I believe, can help those who, you know, look at life from that vantage point that the glass is half empty. This can help you right here. This quote says, gratitude turns what we have into enough. My God. Whoa. Jesus. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. You know, we can get crazy sometimes, you know, and get to acting like life ain't good because of what we don't have, when a lot of times we have way more than a lot of other people. You are Mr. Westport. You could be in the hey, and I wouldn't have a problem with it, Mama. I wouldn't have a problem with it. You know, but gratitude turns what we have into enough. When you just grateful that I have that God has blessed me. You don't look at things from the vantage point of what I don't have. You celebrate what I do have. You know, I look at my cuz right here. He say, talk about it. You know, cuz ain't always had a good job that he got now. Cuz them been through a few jobs to get to people they haven't seen in a while. We got to see people come out there that we haven't seen, some people in years, some people in months, things of that nature. And you got to just sit around and you got to talk a little bit of your history and a little bit of your present. And it's just wonderful. But at times our own light goes out and is rekindled by the spark from another person. But then I like this one too. Abundance, because everybody wants abundance. Let's just be real. Let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. Abundance can be seen easier through the eyes of gratitude. Come on, somebody holler at me. Come on, somebody holler at me. Yes, just to see others happy makes me happy. And if I can help somebody else, I'm thankful. Sister Bernie, you ain't telling nothing but the truth. You are one of the great people I know, and you'll help anyone. And you have such a beautiful personality, a beautiful smile, and you're a beautiful person. God has truly blessed you. God has truly been wonderful to you. You know, that is so true. That is so true, that you definitely love to see other people happy, because you have been a servant in the kingdom for so long, and so I give you and tip my hat to you today. You don't have no cancer, you don't have aches or pains, any of that. Man, if you want to see some aches or pains, any of that, man, if you want to see some abundance, start being grateful. Some of you, you don't know what it is to be chasing after children who chasing after drugs or hiding money because your kids will steal it because they're getting high. Some of you don't know about having to put a child out because they were disrespectful or they were fighting on you. Some of you don't have to worry about writing money orders to send over jail so that your child can have some commissary. Some of you don't know, some of the other things that are out there that are realities for many people every day. If you want to see abundance, start looking through the eyes of gratitude, being grateful that I'm riding the bus, but yet and still, I'm able to get this bus pass every month. I'm able to get where I'm going. It may not be the way that I want to, but I'm getting where I'm going. I got the health and strength to be able to walk these blocks, to get the bus stop, to walk to the job, to do whatever it is that I do. I'm grateful. I have an abundance of health. Some of you, you are like Sister Napa, Adrian Napa. She's a very creative young lady, very creative. She can paint, she can do all that calligraphy and all of those different other things. She can transform a wall and make it look into something totally different. She just a very creative young lady. But at the same time, that's an abundance. That's an abundance of talent to be able to do several different things and do them well. That's an abundance, man. And so if you want to see abundance, start looking through the eyes of gratitude. And then my last quote for you is gratitude and attitude are not challenges. They are choices. Gratitude and attitude are not challenges. They are choices. You choose not to be grateful. When you choose to complain, you choose to move gratefulness out of the way. When you choose to have a negative attitude, you choose for things to be negative. Those are choices. They are not challenges. They are choices. And most of us have had those choices on both sides of the fence. We've been on that positive and that negative, but those are not challenges. They are choices. You choose to be grateful. And I guarantee you, if you choose to be grateful, it ain't going to be too many days that you stressed and you feel this way or whatever. It's going to be a lot of days that you're going to be laughing when you should be crying. It's going to be a lot of days when you're at peace and things may be out of control, chaotic, but you'll be at peace. Because see, when you have gratefulness, you'll be able to do, as they used to say back in the day, you'll find that silver lining in the cloud. You'll find the light at the end of the tunnel. You'll find a way when it seems like there's no way, because that's what gratefulness does. Gratefulness turns the perspective from what is not to what it is. My God, gratefulness turns the perspective from what it's not to what it is. So even if it's a little bit, I can celebrate the fact that I have a little bit. If it's a lot, I can celebrate, yes, the fact that I have a lot. But the perspective, the gratefulness, that's a choice. That's a choice. Good to your family no other time, but it was good to your family this weekend. You had a cousin and a brother on a boat that was taking on water. A brother and a cousin that was on a boat out in the middle of the Chesapeake down in Kent Narrows, and it was taking on water. Yeah, my God. That could have been a horrible phone call there. You had a cousin-in-law, a cousin long enough to accept you in their hearts. Sometimes people are covered because of prayers. Man, some of us, we ain't alive just because we were good. We are the answers to some people's prayers. My God, yes, Aunt Bernie. Some of us are the answers to some prayers. We done had some grandmothers praying for some wounds of their children, and the children that came out them wounds, and wounds. I'm stop saying wounds like wounded, but the womb, WOMB. But some of us are the products of prayers, man. We were covered. We were covered at a young age, and thanks be to God, man, that wasn't a tragic story, man. I had, people on that boat that I knew, man. That would have been so devastating. I was watching the live because they went live and they showing you how water is coming in right at the engine and it's filling up and all of this old stuff. But thanks be to God that somebody was smart enough to get on their phones, call, and do all of this stuff. And the Coast Guard and the police and all of those other people who got there to rescue them, because that would have been 30-something people that would have either tried to swim, try to do something. Yeah. Look at God, Department of Natural Resources. That's right. You know them good peoples, Angela. And, that would have been 30, possibly 30-something tragedies, families affected by this, countless numbers of people feeling this thing. If that thing would have went forth like it could have, but God is so merciful. That's the abundance, y'all. Abundance can be seen easier through the eyes of gratitude. Each day you wake up, great is thy faithfulness, an abundance of faithfulness. Each day you take a step. Each day you're able to get through and think for yourself, and nobody had to put your socks on for you. Nobody had to dress you. Nobody had to feed you. That's an abundance, man. Each day you were able to, yes, you went to the job that you don't like, but you was able to give them what time was theirs, and you home and you getting paid for it. All of this stuff, that's the abundance. Each day that you get to grab something and eat it. I don't care if it's some bread, you got a chance to eat. Abundance each day. Frank Fields normally is on with me every Monday, but I thank God that God covered you, Frank. Tori, his wife, is normally on with me. Thank God that he covered y'all. Thank God that it wasn't a tragedy. Thank God for his abundance towards me. Thank God for his abundance towards me. Yes. I get one more, then I'm gone. I just need one more. Do whatever's necessary and needed so that you can not only be victorious, but also feel like can't nobody do me like God. My God. Yes, Joanne, I'm obligated.